This is ContactTalkRadio.com. Consciousness in action. And you are taking action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on TuneIn.com, Ping.fm, and UpSnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio.
Welcome to Transformations with Tara Sutphen. Tara Sutphen is the author of Blame It on Your Past Lives, Soul Agreements, and the Abenda Chronicles. Grammy-nominated audios, videos, and MP3 series. You can find these MP3 series now at TaraInsight.com.
Welcome to Transformations with Tara. I'm Tara Sutphen, and my guest is Jason D. McKean. He has over 1 million recordings sold worldwide of Om recordings, and also big meditation line. Welcome, Jason.
Good morning, Tara. How are you?
Well, I could be better, as you could too.
I hear that.
We're siblings, so we have a little family crisis going on, but we're gonna do okay. So today we're gonna talk about past life phenomenon and how the mysteries of past life affect our present life and goes into our future, and how we deal with that, and it's really such a fun tool. So Jason and I are going to talk about it.
Yeah, and it's important to note that we both are past life regressionists. You've been doing it for years and years and years.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And
I'm going on decades, like many decades now.
Yeah, and so knowing the benefits of what. If someone chooses to get a past life regression, I'll hear from people who it's like they're like told, it's like, oh, I was told that I should get a past life regression and all, and that's like that can be the spark for someone to do it, to be able to access those memories, right, as a means of understanding their course in life. Right.
Well, that's where I think that past life comes in. I'm very much moving, as a therapist, I'm usually always moving people into their future and to really bring the present into a solid area and then going into the future. But I love past life regression because I think that it like gives you clues on where you've been tripping up or why you feel some things, because it's definitely where it stems from, is some kind of memories in our heads from somewhere. I mean, we don't even know where we're from. Like, let's face it. Do you remember before you're born? I mean, unless you're in hypnosis and you're working on research like I do a lot, then you don't really know, where you come from and where we're going when we cross over. But bottom line is, it's going to be somewhere. And the same thing with past lives. You've been there before. Yeah. All your idiosyncrasies, what you like, who you like, the food you like, all of it has something to do with where you've been before.
It's you asked that question, where are you from, right? And it's like I have this background behind me that's very cosmic and all with space, and I know that I've always been like attracted to the stars and the cosmos and all, and the universe is a huge place. Yes. It's a huge place, and most of the past life experiences, people will be generally located on Earth, but I've had people who are like they're in these non-human forms. They feel like they're energy, they're conscious energy, and they've been they'll have experiences as that too. So it's like it's pretty fascinating to see if one is kind of in that like disembodied or that more energetic energy, and they're bringing that into their life now. It's really interesting to see how they're enacting their life, how attached they are in this life, if they're able to navigate it like really well, or if they're kind of like feeling like they're a stranger in a strange land.
Well, we all create our own reality. how we react to things is paramount. Yeah. And we do create it. If we're depressed all the time, depression will show up in every area of our lives. If we are, I get cast as, you're just too optimistic, sometimes.
Pollyanna-ish.
Pollyanna-ish. But the bottom line is that, you fake it until you make it. You go forward. You do not sit around and wallowing and kind of like a deer in headlights. Otherwise, we'll lose the opportunities that we have. And there's plenty of opportunities. You see people like really people who have come to this country in America. They believe that the streets are paved in gold, and they act like that. And so they get somewhere because that's what they believe. And so that's where that comes from.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thoughts, is that you may not be there yet, because we're not living in the future. We're living in the now. And where the past is only a tool, and what we can bring and what our skills are and what our talents are, what is it that we're bringing into the future? What are we bringing into our present life?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Because I do like to address that, as far as because of the way that our beings can generally be, right? It's like we all have more or less of parts of our personality that come to the fore and all, but that's part of it too, as far as being able to center yourself, to know who you are in the present, know what you can bring to a situation, know what you've brought to situations in the past. It's like the future, right, is like it's our mind wants to project ahead and just like, well, what's going to happen, and I like to just boil it down or break it down to, like, if one is going to a party, right, one is going to a social situation that they maybe they don't know anyone, right, maybe they know the host, right, and it's like, oh, who's going to be there, what am I going to say to people and all? It's like you just show up, just bring yourself to it, and go to the refreshment bar first. Don't just stake out a corner and just like, well, no one's coming over to me, go out and say hello.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everything can start just basically, and it can be that fear of the unknown. It can hold us back. It can keep us locked in. Or if we just show up in a centered place, it's like, I know who I am, and I'm going to project that out into the world in just a confident manner. Then it's like you're navigating the present. You're creating pathways towards your future. It doesn't have to be perfect. No, I mean, what's perfect, right? It's like, do you connect with everyone you meet? Does it, no, it's like, but you will, find areas of common interest and all. And it gets more, in depth as you look to project your business self, the part of yourself that is, I deal with a lot of practitioners, as do you, people who are spiritual individuals who want to project that spiritual self out into the world, and that becomes more in depth.
Yeah, I think sometimes people think they're friendly, but they may have an agenda. The bottom line is just to be, authentic and genuine, and looking at somebody or knowing what to say, and not living in whatever that troubled bubble is that we get into, because we definitely can get there so easily.
Living in the trouble bubble.
Yes, that's perfect. I love that.
It's a nice book title.
Yes, it is. So, but the bottom line is that really it's It's come up a couple times this week, for me, that somebody was talking to me about this one person that uh, decided to, she's like completely in depression, um, pushing back everyone that she knows, not telling anybody what she's kind of up to. There's just been a series of things, but I said, well, you can't. And she was like mad because a lot of other people, some of her friends, were having fun with other people. And it was just like, okay, you take a step in, you take a step out. The bottom line is that all you do is take a step in. It's not going to hurt you to take a step in. You may feel uncomfortable, like a fish out of water sometimes, but just include yourself. You don't have to have, it takes practice sometimes to just keep including yourself, and it's okay. And then I was talking to my friend Michael Walker this morning, and Michael was somebody who lived in Australia, and I lived in America, and I met him in a seminar in London, and we became friends just by a few kind words and a couple smiles. And so he was saying, oh, you guys need to come to Australia, it'd be so much fun. And so, one thing led to another, and we became friends, and we've been friends for now 30 years. And the thing is that it started was a few kind words and a smile sometimes with somebody. And then it goes from there. And, this is somebody that we're never in the same part of the world. He lives in Japan, or he's in Australia, I'm here. So, it's just friendship that spans over the world. And that's so much fun, and so it's just a few kind words and a smile here and there. So
yeah. And it's like, because of the technology, Facebook, the social medias, whatever, it's like, being able to stay connected without having to, kind of be, on top of each other as far as like.
Right. And it was before social media that I met him. So
what, there were like
it was
letters and stuff?
Letters.
Oh my God.
Cards. Yeah. And, very rarely the phone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we depend on the mail, these days too, for some folks, but mostly it's God, I can't imagine. Old-fashioned letters.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've been doing fun stuff. With letters to.
Do you think that there are people that can have like a past life connection, and it's just like there's an instant like, whoa, like this connection is just like remade, like or remembered right in a moment?
Well, I don't think that you always think. I think that there's an attraction to somebody, but you don't really know where it comes from. And yeah, that's the thing. I'm sure that that's what I was having, say, with Michael. So I'm sure it's some kind of past life connection. Whether I've really explored it ever, I don't think. But I would say, if I just off the top of my head, is I've usually been priest somewhere in the world with somebody, because I've been many teachers and priests and mystery schools. That seems to be what I love. So that comes around all the time with some of these people.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever?
Not into metaphysics like that.
Have you ever written any of like those lifetimes there as teachers and priests and all?
I haven't really. Yeah, I've written some of them down. I mean, they're all in journals, but I haven't, given them to the public yet. I guess, yeah.
Well, I mean, that would be an interesting, like looking for those common threads, how that tapestry is woven, as far as, because one doesn't just get to a place of owning that identity as a teacher, right? Without having like a lineage of that, and an understanding of what it is to be a teacher, and especially of such cosmic proportions.
Right. And I've I've been so fortunate in this life to, I know a lot of the great shaman of the world. I just know so many shaman of the world. Whatever country. I mean, Mark was just here. He just got back from Poland. And so he and his wife, they're touring, helping others. And so his shamanic abilities are, incredible, but so fortunate for him to come in for, a week and stay with me. So it's nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
all over the world, all over the world.
but it's not just you
Wait a minute.
seeking them out. It's like them. It's like
No, I
they're
have
drawn to you
huge.
also.
Yeah, it's huge. Like these really incredible meetings. Like they were just destiny where we come together. Yeah, it's fun. It is fun. But yeah, so the mystery school, talking in depth like that, it's fun. I mean, not everybody would understand, what we talk about, but it's, for us, it's fascinating. Just in experiments that we do and talk about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It would be. I mean, if you were open to sharing that in a written form, it would be a really, quite educational.
Mm-hmm. It would be. And what I see, like when he works on me, it's always been really phenomenal what comes up,
When Mark works on you, is that?
Yeah, what I see and what I tell him, like nobody else knows some of his history and stuff, and I'll say things like, oh, this happened, and it's like, oh my God, how do you know these things?
You know, I something I can share. It's like I did have a session with him, and I think the night after, or a couple nights after, I dreamt that I had a meeting with the Queen, with Queen Elizabeth. Like it was like me and another woman, and then she was like doing some kind of like,
Was this a dream?
Yeah, well, it was a dream.
Yeah, because
I'm with the Queen.
Yeah, remember, I did take a picture over my head many years ago. Prince Philip and her and her husband, they were
Are they in a carriage?
And Prince Charles, yeah, they were all in a carriage on the Royal Mile in Scotland. I took a picture over my head with my 35 millimeter, and they contacted me. The Queen's office contacted me after we'd been sourcing on the moon. And we wanted I said, okay, let's do this fun experiment. I said, let's ask for the most random thing to come in for anywhere in the whole world. Let's just put it out there that something random will happen. Right? And 2 weeks later, the Queen's office called to use that photograph for Kensington Palace. Yeah. for a shoe and purse show or something. Anyway, it was hilarious. It was, because it was like, why my photograph, is there going down in the carriage. It was a great picture. So
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
So that's the thing. But I asked that the most random thing happened. Well, I mean, so anyway, your dream with the Queen.
Yeah, it's like
that's nice and random.
I'm at Buckingham Palace, and she's and there's like a there was like a royal like kind of measurement person, making sure that we're like 6 feet apart. So they have like this stick that's like 6 feet long, and it's like between the two of us and all that, as she's doing some kind of ceremonial thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so she's doing a ceremony with you.
Inducted into something
that's
secret.
Beautiful. The secret, yeah. That's pretty beautiful, the Queen, because it's all about the druid thing at that point.
Yeah, and
we were just talking. Don't you have the enlightened shirt on or something?
I have the White Tree of Gondor.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Which is like the kingdom of from Lord of the Rings.
Yes, yes.
I joke with I've got friends in New Zealand there who want me to come and stay, and I'm like, if I go there, I'm going to get mistaken as Gandalf. I'm going to get that a lot there, because I've got to go to Hobbiton and all that.
Oh yeah, no, I've been there. You've got to go to all of it. It's going to be great. Yeah. You actually should go. Upcoming.
It's on my wish list.
I know, and then work a couple places I've worked. That'd be fabulous. We're gonna set that up, Jason. That sounds like a great idea. Anyway, so yeah, we were talking about that he might not be a good spokesperson for t-shirts because his beard always covers the front.
That is a thing, right? It's like if it was like a word or something like that, then it's like it's incorporate the beard into it,
right,
where it's part of
I was telling him that he should start a new trend, kind of like a beard bun, or like to put some braids in it.
See, and this is it's like that's a woman speaking who can't like grow a beard. A guy doesn't grow a beard to like then like put it up. It's like a man grows a beard so that they can like it's an expression of freedom.
Well, was that the Bob Dylan song?
Oh, I started singing. The answer is my beard blowing in the wind. Right. That's like there's nothing like it. Anyone who can grow a beard and have the wind kind of come in and just kind of like blow it around, it's like, then you're alive.
Yes, you're alive.
Unless it's 2 feet long and it's just like kind of getting all over the place and it's just like, whoa,
blinding you.
Yeah, right. It's like you don't want to be like riding a motorcycle or something. It's like,
well, I have that with my hair, horseback riding stuff. That head's going everywhere. Yeah.
Right.
Or if I'm going down, looking down at feet or something. Yeah, cleaning feet. It's like I don't want my hair in it.
Yeah. Cleaning your feet?
Their feet.
Oh, the horse's feet. Okay.
Yeah. Like, okay. Tuck this into my shirt. Yeah.
And it's like, speaking of past lives, it's like I've always been a beard guy. Like in this life, I've always been a beard guy. And that is like a strong like past life.
That is just strong coming in past life.
You're this guy.
Right. You were taking yarn and making yarn beards when you were little. And we haven't seen Jason's face since he was like 18, I think.
No. It's like the last time I was working at Sizzler.
Oh.
As kitchen help. That was like in the early 80s. That was the last time.
Yeah, like I said, when you were a baby.
When I was a wee lad.
A wee lad. Yeah. So your beard probably, has a life of its own it has a story to tell.
Oh, it definitely has a life of its own, but it's
the past lives. What have you found that past lives where you had to have a beard? Have you really ever looked back?
I haven't explored, that part of it. I've explored.
I have to do that.
Lives where I've been a teacher in the South. And where it was like taboo to like have like Black students. It was like early 19th century. I'm sorry, 20th century. So the 1900s. Right. America, South. It's very, very volatile like stuff. Civil War stuff that of course, I think I was a part of, but I think I was killed. It wasn't something that I got to see the aftermath of, and also that's why I have the bookshelf, so I could like kind of finish the story, see what happened. All right. There's some early England, the Knights. Yes, definitely. Spain, so I'll be in certain places that have a certain coloring to them, certain environment to them, and it just takes me back to a certain place in Spain, Istanbul. It's like being in Hagia Sophia. There was one corridor that it's just like I know this place. I know it.
Mhm.
It's just kind of ingrained, and it's like you just when you have it's almost like the molecules are of a different time
Mhm.
that are in the space, and it just time slows. Um, that's when you know that you've been there. Your spirit has been there before. Um, so there's a few places like that. Japan, you know, definitely didn't have a beard in Japan
Mhm.
because it's not a thing really,
Right.
having beards. Um, yeah, I mean it's like a part of like the past. It feels like it's alive for me at this time. Like it's a place uh, of strength, of knowing, and it's like I've worked in the realm of past life regression. Have supported it for many years, and now doing the work of it. It's like helping others connect with these places of strength that they've had, resilience, lessons that they're either learning at this time, or that they have learned, and that um, they're taking it to the next level. It's important stuff.
Yeah. Cool. Important stuff. And that's what it is too, about past life, is what was important and what wasn't.
Mhm.
What do we need to leave behind? Truly leave behind. Some of that angst for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, looking to see what is a common thread that runs through your own life, your own soul.
Hmm.
um to see if there are areas that are I mean, just because we're human in this form, it's like we we share a similar areas of in- like the our experiences. They can mirror a lot of other people's experiences, with relationships and ambitions, how we surround ourselves, with stuff, if there's lack or if there's abundance,
Hmm.
and and our relationship to all of those things can, through trauma, it can be shifted, right? There can be a shift in that, where if someone experiences like a lot of lack, a lot of trauma, it's like they can, you know, move forward in another life and get like stuck. They can get really
Right.
like kind of like trapped by like an obsession or something that is keeps them, instead of it being a free flowing progression, it becomes a place, like a stumbling block that they're now like locked into, and helping someone free themselves from it. It's past life regression is, it's like you're not telling the person what to experience. It's like you open up the environment for them to see themselves in that, and then to free themselves.
Yeah. And sometimes people think they're making it up, but you're making up real things. And so you get to, especially with the internet now, because I was doing past life regressions when you didn't have the internet. So, there's a lot of research involved. But now, since we have the internet, it's great as far as that satisfaction right away, finding, wow, that there was the war that time. And that's where I was, experiencing that sort of thing.
Right. Yeah. If you're able to um, make notes like right after your experience, I record all my sessions with people. It's a beauty
Mhm.
of Zoom, is that one can take that recording and transcribe it, or so make notes of anything that a person can bring up. Not everyone is able to just like access a time and a place and sometimes it is reflective of, like, while someone is experiencing something, if they're in it, they can be totally just in it. And
Right.
it's like, if someone is living in an age where there isn't access to a lot of just that other, bigger picture of where someone lives, and the name of a state or a country, a time period, you know
Mhm.
what day it is on the calendar. These are constructs that are, for a more, we're kind of obsessed with stuff like that now. With
Mhm.
the age of information, it's like,
Mhm.
and I'll find there are days when it's like, what day is it? Yesterday I was like, what day is it? It's like, oh, I've got a radio show tomorrow with Tara, so it must be Thursday. you know However,
That's your power of alpha thinking.
well, it's how, I can, like, remember things is through events, and one's basic schedule.
So one of our dearest friends in this life, Jess Stern, who wrote Yoga, Youth, and Reincarnation, he wrote the book, The Power of Alpha Thinking. And it was one of the first books he ever gave me. And I love it. It's all about how you associate something with what you're trying to remember. And that's a gist. And so I would, I've always loved that, but that's funny. Thursday means Tara in the radio on Friday. Yes.
That's why he called me Jason the Mason.
Well, and look at your Mason. Yeah,
J-
amazing.
Jason the Mason. It's like, it was like a rhyme, right? But it's like he could always remember me. Do that.
That's maybe what he was doing with all of us. Yeah, all the time. Oh my God.
Yeah, but what's funny is that
Right.
all of my books, all of his books that he wrote, that he signed to me, they all are like Jason the Mason.
Jason the Mason. That's funny. Did they have beards?
What, did he draw little
Yeah, a little beard at that moment.
photos
I don't
or
know.
little drawings with me with a beard? No,
Yeah.
no. He always, like, called me Rasputin too.
Mm.
He was like, and it's funny because I like read on Rasputin. It's just like, really?
Well, that's an interesting past life because, I mean,
Wild priest.
yeah, right. Wild priest. But, um, was having a party once, memorial or a Labor Day party, and at my lake house years ago. And I love this book, and it's not related to the Romanovs, but it's by the same writers. And I had it sitting, as like a coffee table book, but it was on top of a smaller bookshelf.
Mhm.
And I had it displayed. And we're coming out of an area, and a girl says, "Oh, my parents wrote that book." And I was like, "What? That's one of my favorite books." And she was like, "Yeah, they wrote about the Romanovs too, and they're the ones who brought the Romanovs, kind of like everybody knows about the Romanovs." But the thing about the Romanovs and why they were studying the Romanovs was to study Rasputin and to study the son, because the son had hemophilia. He was a hemophiliac. And so why they were studying is because their son was a hemophiliac. And so they wanted to know if there was some correlation and something in that past that kept that son alive, or what Rasputin was doing for that son. And they were wondering if there was any medical stuff. And that's why they wrote that book. And so it's really interesting where it comes from. But, as almost like a past life, that's just, searching medical,
Mhm. Mhm.
information, but searching medical information about the past.
Yeah,
So anyway,
that is interesting.
yeah, it was really cool. And she's still my friend, and I just love her. I think your dad just passed away last year, but yeah, part of the writing team. But they brought in a lot of interesting books. Last name is Massey. Yeah. So, but it was just funny as we're past.
Yeah, and
My parents wrote that book.
it's like, I mean, Jess would call me Rasputin because I had a dark beard. It was before I was married,
Right. And then we'd be in Mexico, and then they go from Harley Davidson man to, when making motorcycle sounds to,
to Jesus, to
Jesus. Yeah.
it was shorter
fun.
beard, and it was like
Right.
it was dark.
Yeah.
Then I got married and it all turned white.
But you became the wizard.
Yeah.
You're long.
I guess Rasputin was considered a wizard too.
Huh? What?
I guess Rasputin was considered a wizard too. Like, although he seems like, pretty intense guy.
Yeah, who knows what he was.
He had different energy. I do not like, say, oh yeah, we're like,
no, there's no alikeness, just the beard.
Yeah.
Yeah. But interesting. Yeah. Jess was so into reincarnation as well. Yoga, Youth, and Reincarnation. Actually, he is. It was a bestseller on the New York list in 1965, and so Jess brought, Eastern thought to the Western world, and because we had Yogananda Paramahansa meeting with presidents, but nobody was like really listening. And so it took a while for all that to come around, but he kind of helped nudge that along, which was great, because it's really, he's really the helpful one. And he never took really super credit for it, but if you study it at all, that's what happened.
Yeah.
And he was one of our dearest friends, and I feel very happy that we knew him so well.
I mean, do you feel that you were like connected through past life
with him? Yes.
Him before?
My past lives. Well, he had me regressed for his books early on, and I'd go to this hypnotist who was, and it's so funny, I never thought I'd be a hypnotist because this guy, he was I don't even know what he was, but he might have been a psychiatrist or psychologist or something, psychiatrist maybe. And he lived in this old Spanish house down in Silver Lake, Los Feliz. And it was a beautiful old house. But, and so he'd take me into the office of his house and he hypnotized me. And it was always fascinating what would come up. And it was, really before I was married and divorced and all of it. And the thing is that what I got with him is that we were priests in Atlantis, and that he was the head priest, but I was I was the priest under him. And devoted. I was so devoted to him. And I have been devoted to him many past lives. I mean, because when we met, it was definitely kismet. Because he was my best friend. He was 64 and I was 21. I mean, it was almost like ridiculous. And he knew I was somebody from a past life. And so he would invite me to all these meetings and I would be just humoring him, because I wasn't that interested. Although I'd write it down in my diary, I was not that interested in, like knowing about past lives or psychic ability or any of it. But he took me to healers and psychics and mediums, seances. We'd go to all these psychic healers, I mean, we'd go to all this cool stuff. But I wasn't that impressed because I was young, I just thought it was part of the world. And, but he was trying to figure out who I was. He was always trying to figure out who I was for him and why. Because we were just, we slammed together, talk about past life connection. That was a big slam. Yeah. So, and then we would give each other psychic readings on the deck. We only drank orange juice because we didn't drink coffee. We didn't drink wine. We didn't even drink tea. So we were drinking orange juice. We'd get together for orange juice. And it was when the pay phones, I'd be running around LA and say, I'm going to come out, let's meet for orange juice. And so we'd meet at a restaurant for orange juice. And then sometimes we would walk the beach and stuff, but it was just hilarious,
Amazing.
Yeah. The rest is history.
Well, it's also funny because, it's like, if you're like, so hungry, for all that knowledge and all, sometimes one can be too hungry, for, it's like, oh yeah, let's go see this person, rather than just kind of like absorbing it, like easily.
I think that was the part of it that was just so beautiful for us.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it just came about so naturally. I thought it was funny, and we had all these conversations all the time and all these books, and I brought you guys in, and you guys were all best friends with him. He was so much fun for us, and yet he wasn't fun for everybody. I can attest to that on some of the things, because I'm friends with somebody who had another friend who, he gave her like a really hard time all the time. Yeah. So it's just kind of fun to see that, Yeah. So Jason made his talk about like past lives and how interesting his past lives were, because his dad was a rabbi, but he was a traveling rabbi and he never got to see him. So he wasn't enamored with his dad at all, and yet he was holy without being overly. I would have never known how holy he was when I first met him, but he was the holiest, one of the holiest people I've ever known, and by example, just didn't talk about anybody. We were always talking concepts. We were always talking sorry about that. We were always talking concepts. We were always talking, ideas on reincarnation and the paranormal, and just what if and why, and is it important? Was it important?
That sounds like priest talk.
It was very priest talk. Yeah, we were priests every minute. Yeah. And I still only almost talk like that, I guess. Yeah. You want to talk about that? I'm always up for a good weird conversation.
that is funny, because it's like, I conversationally, it's like I've never been interested in sports or
I admire sports. I admire energy. I admire drive. I admire competition. I do admire anyone who is willing to push themselves to achieve. I love it because it's a progress. It's going forward, and not everyone is the same. And so we have to but you maybe didn't talk sports, but when you were doing sports, you were always winning, always. The Junior Olympics, tennis. Jason took tennis. He was a part of a tennis team in LA. He could have probably, well, how many trophies do you have? 100? 50?
I don't know that I have the trophies anymore.
I don't think you have the trophies, but how many were there? There was 50. There's got to be so many trophies.
There's a lot.
There was a lot.
I'm glad you kept track.
I know. See, I kept track of stuff. There is about 50. I mean, Jason you may not talk sports, but man, but when he was doing sports, he was winning it.
That's true.
Yeah. So yeah. So you just weren't talking it. You were doing it.
Yeah. Well, part of, again, like with past lives and all that, it's like, it's about how involved or how invested one becomes in what it is that they do, so that one is making the most of that time,
Yeah.
And that's one of the lessons that has like been like consistent with me,
Right.
is to, be in the present and own the present. Doesn't mean that, if I'm in sports or whatever, that I have to win. If I don't, it's like, oh, it's the end of the world. But
Well,
to show up in it, and when you show up, it's like you can do well. And I've done well in
right.
many things.
So where do you think in a past life level, have you ever even explored that?
What's that?
Past lives where you've been such a great athlete.
Oh, oh boy. You know what? There's
There's some good work to do with you for your
yeah,
next book. I'll be your regressionist.
for like I mean, I was talking about this the other day, where it's like Greece
Hmm.
has like something for me. It's like if I am studying like the Greek mythology, or
Oh,
if I'm just Greece has like a, total connection with me. Not so much like Rome or the
well, Rome, they
Romans,
changed the names, right?
but the lifestyle, the look, the architecture, it
Mhm.
there's something there, and that feels like one of those sports like places, like where I was just very physical and able to uh, run around for like a long period of time, like into
Right.
my middle ages, you know,
Hmm.
which back then was probably about 20. Like old age was probably 30. No,
Right.
it was
Well, maybe.
like maybe 40s or so, where it's like still physically like strong and all, um bulky, like good muscle structure and all. But that feels definitely like like I was a man in that life there in Greece.
Mhm. Well, it could have been many lifetimes in Greece.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they were around long enough,
Mhm. Right.
like in that particular
Right.
civilization and all.
Right. Hmm. Yeah. So what is well, and then you have a lot of Japanese connections.
Hmm. Hmm.
You're even working with Japan right now.
Yeah,
So that's got to be huge. Asia's got to be huge for you.
it's yeah, and it's seems to be mostly like in that area of like Japan, or maybe even in Korea or so. I don't know so much about like Thailand and like this,
Ah, mm,
Southern Asia.
I love it.
Um,
Love it.
I know that in
Love
this
it.
in this life as a child growing up, I got tainted
Hmm.
by, because everyone was like, oh, Vietnam, it's like, late 60s, early 70s and all that. It's like, that would be like, me like just kind of stepping out of that programming, right? To embrace that part of the world in a fresh light, all right? To go there, I would have to go there and
Hmm.
all, because uh there's just a lot of stuff, because of it was just a particular time, and growing up at that particular time, so it just like kind of locked in a little too heavy for me.
Mm. Yeah. Mm.
So that's, again, kind of one of those things that can one can hear stuff growing up, right? And then like say, oh, I'm not going to do that, because that's not good. Right? And keep themselves from moving forward,
Hmm.
right? So it's like I see that in myself and say, oh, well, that's what it is, and where I can change that, by actually going there and knowing that it's like, oh, okay, that was a different time, it was a totally different energy of that. And I feel that I've done that, with certain parts of the world, like Turkey, Istanbul, I don't know, where it's like, just kind of moving past areas of fear and all, and just like, wow, it's like an incredible place. But that just takes effort, to do that, and the resources to do all of the traveling that one might want to do.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, it's interesting. The world is a beautiful place if we allow it to be. Each and every place has its magic, and it has beautiful people, and if you expect that, then it happens. So and not everybody's had a great experience everywhere. This is where you find in past lives, we've been killed many different ways, and we fought with people. They haven't understood our reasoning. Right. That it happens. Yeah. One bad thing leads to another. Of course, we know all that.
Yeah.
So, Jason, how can people find you?
Well, people can find me on Facebook here, Jason D. McKean. My website is jasondmckean.com, and my book, Magic Channel Tarot Reading with the Tarot Wizard, is at Amazon, and it's now in 5 stores in
Nice.
the Los Angeles area. And got a call from Bakersfield, from Enchanted Cottage, saying, "Hey, send us some copies."
Yeah, where's our copies? Right.
Yeah, so it's on the on that expansive road there to being in stores and all.
It's traveling now.
It's getting out in the world.
Yes, nice. Well, and then you had everybody showing their book. That was really fun.
I still have people doing that. I've got a second collage that's in the works there. People
good.
who are they receive their books, and then they take a photo of it, either with them with it, or
I like someone with it.
Yeah, and so I'm just putting that together as a collage, and and I'm humbled by it, to be honest, as far as it's like there's a lot of people who are friends, and it's like thank you everyone for doing that.
Yeah, and so you're doing Japanese sessions.
I have sessions in Japan that are coming up and will be continuous throughout the summer.
Are you doing a past life regression?
I am doing past life regression, not in Japan.
No, but
yeah, it's like me and Maki-san, who is my translator, and Maki Ono. She we were doing some meditation, where I speak it, right, but then she has to kind of match the tone, right, when she takes what I say and translate it into Japanese, right, so that it doesn't break a certain flow, because meditations are calm and soothing. And so you don't want someone just to like da 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 da, and it's just like be this weird mix,
Right.
and she's great at it. She's great at just keeping it calm, and we're having some wonderful results there. That's from our last seminar there.
That's really fun.
Yeah. So it may be in the works. I don't say no to opportunities. I say, well, yes, and let's figure out how to do it.
Yes, that's right.
How about you? Where are you located?
Well, I am. I'm on Zoom, or anybody can book an appointment with me. I'm not having any seminars right now, and I'm going to for the next few weeks. I know. So I have a lot of private work that I'm doing. So we're doing great.
All right. But you're TaraInsight.com and hypnotherapy.
And Tara is TaraInsight.com. And thank you, Jason, for being
Thank you, Tara. Much love to you.
I know.
Thank you, everyone.
Yep. Lots of love and blessings.
Thank you for listening to Transformations with Tara. Tara hopes this program brings guidance and insight towards a better tomorrow. If you have any questions or inquiries, or would just like to know more about Tara Sutphen's workshops and seminars or private sessions, please visit her website now at tarainsight.com. Until next time, many blessings.